As we talked about before, just about every school that accepts the Common App or Universal application also requires students to submit at least one supplementary essay as well. If you're applying to a bunch of colleges, this can mean sorting through a ton of school-specific requirements. So while the Common App and the Universal application have streamlined the application process, they haven't necessarily made the essay writing process any easier. For example, Cornell requires students who apply via the Common App or the Universal application to submit what's called a college interest essay. Here's the prompt for the College of Engineering. Tell us about an engineering idea you have, or about your interest in engineering. Describe how your ideas and interests may be realized by, and linked to, specific resources within the College of Engineering. Finally, explain what a Cornell engineering education will enable you to accomplish. So in addition to writing a general essay, either one of the 5 Common App choices or the Universal application prompt demonstrating your ability to develop and communicate your thoughts, you also have to write an essay that testifies to the sincerity of your commitment to studying engineering at Cornell. Take a moment to read through the prompt again. Be sure you understand clearly what it's asking. When you break this prompt down, it actually involves 3 separate tasks, each rooted in different aspects of your life and experience. The first part of the prompt requires you to describe an idea or explain your interest in engineering. The second part of the prompt asks you to link this idea or your interest to specific resources at Cornell that could help you to realize your goal. The third part of the prompt urges you to project forward and anticipate where you think an engineering degree from Cornell could take you. So, how do you tackle writing an essay like this? As always, it comes back to audience and purpose. Think about what you're trying to do. You're trying to sell yourself to the admissions officer and convince him that you have something of value to offer. So let's start with the first part of the prompt that asks you to explain your interest in engineering. I'm going to try talking through this as if I were actually responding to the prompt myself. So here goes my think aloud. Okay, so what did inspire my interest in engineering? I've always been good at math and science. Physics is my favorite subject. I've entered the science fair every year and won several awards. In elementary school, I played with Legos a lot. I loved to take things apart and put them back together to see how they worked. Wait, that could be it. Taking things apart. I love doing that. And I think I might be able to write about it. So now, at least I have a starting point. Imagine now that it's you writing the essay. How would you start out? A word of advice: don't waste any of those precious 500 words restating the prompt. I can almost imagine the admissions officer's eyes glazing over as he reads this. Remember, yours might be the 35th file he's plowed through today, and he can't bear to read another opening sentence like this. Try to think of something that will grab his attention. You may need to use a little creative license here. The core of your story is what's important, but the details are what make it engaging. If you can't remember all the details from a real-life event, try supplementing them with some from your imagination. Let's use the taking apart the alarm clock idea. Maybe that's the only detail you can remember. How could you make this idea more interesting? Try creating a scenario. What would likely result from taking apart your dad's alarm clock that would make for an engaging opening to your essay? How about this? "Jenny!" my dad roared as he stormed down the stairs in his bathrobe. "What the heck did you do to my alarm clock? It never went off, and now I'm late for a really important meeting." Now you have your reader's attention. What did you do to your dad's alarm clock? What will happen next? However, you shouldn't spend too long on this opening scenario. A sentence or two at most. Remember, you only have 500 words. Move on to a direct response to the prompt as soon as you can. Trace your passion for engineering from this moment through to the present. Mention science fairs, physics teachers, all the ideas you came up with in your brainstorming. You can refer to the sample essay in the exercise files to see what I came up with. After you've answered the first part of the prompt, you need to transition into the second writing task the prompt gives you. Pay close attention to those words, specific resources. How are you supposed to know what specific resources Cornell's College of Engineering has to offer? Well, actually, that's part of your job. You have to find out. Did you take a tour? If so, think back to what you saw. But even if you've never set foot on campus, you can get some valuable information by simply checking the college's website. So let's do that. Start by scanning for information you could tie to your topic. Let's try student resources. Now, search for something you can connect. How about engineering learning initiatives? Read as much as you can about this particular program, and then try to find a way to connect it to your own interests and passions. You could try writing something like this. To someone like me, who obviously has a passion for hands-on learning, Cornell's engineering learning initiatives would offer a direct opportunity to turn my clock dismantling into something more productive. This shows the admissions officer that you have given some thought to this question and taken the time to explore ways you could fit into the Cornell community. Also, be aware of anything or anyone you see that you respond to personally. In particular, I notice that all the individuals listed on this page are women. If you're a female applicant to the College of Engineering, you must use this to your advantage. Colleges and universities are eager to attract female STEM students. Don't be afraid to mention that seeing women pictured inspires you, and that this steers you toward Cornell. Refer to the sample essay and the exercise files to see how I did this. Finally, you need to bridge into the third part of the writing task. What comes after you get your degree? How can you envision your Cornell education taking you into the future? This is where you need to be imaginative. You can maintain that connection to your opening scenario. I'll go back into think aloud mode here to finish this out. So, what could I see myself doing in 10 or 15 years that I could connect to both of the things I've written about in this essay so far? Taking apart my dad's alarm clock and working hands-on in the Cornell Learning Initiative? Maybe taking apart much bigger and more important things and putting them back together. What about a specific industry that Cornell partners with? An internship that I might be able to get through an alumni connection? That could work. You could mention something about how the opportunities and education you receive at Cornell will enable you to do more than just put that alarm clock back together so it works, that it will teach you the skills you need to build an even better alarm clock. This reference back to the opening scenario is sometimes referred to as a circular reference. These are great just as long as they don't sound forced. This reference also offers a good connection to a compelling title. Building a better alarm clock is actually an allusion to a common phrase, building a better mousetrap. We'll talk more about creating compelling titles in another movie. Go ahead and take a look at the exercise files to see how I've finished my essay. You might also want to look at the types of supplement questions offered by the schools you are considering. You should be able to adapt some of these suggestions to your particular question. By combining a strong general application essay with a solid supplement response, you greatly increase your chances of getting into the college or university of your choice.